right, so here we are, immediately the season is underway. We're like 4 or 5 games in for each team. So this is always I say this is one of the more difficult podcasts to do every year because it's just like, what do we really know after a week? What definitive conclusions can we possibly make? But like, hey, this is a basketball podcast. We got to come out with some and see what we got. If you're watching on video, our guy Nick Gryniewicz is here. I'll do the full intro and plug and all that, of course, here in a little bit. But yeah, Justin's off for a few weeks. Yeah, Justin is, like I said, Justin's a promotions director now, man. He's got a lot of events to plan, and like, I'm not even saying like, and my man is busy on the weekends. My man is busy during the week. Like I'm always honest with the podcast listeners. Like Justin and I have just not gotten on the same page time wise. Like, and we recorded, like I said, we recorded an episode last week. But yeah, we probably will be down. I think he's gonna be back in like 2 weeks. He'll figure it out. But like we said, we're gonna hold it down. The show goes on in the meantime. But I just don't. I never want anybody to think there's like some weird podcast beef brewing, because I feel like Justin and I have done like maybe 3 episodes together in the past like 7 weeks. And it's just like, that's how life goes sometimes. But he actually held it down. He and Chase had a great episode. Their intro, they talked about the history of heaves, which is way more entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, that they kind of smoked that segment. But no, we're gonna fire off the hot take cannon here. Like I said at the beginning of the season, talk about things that have stood out. So Nick, I mean, I guess any teams. I mean, your Bulls are 3-0 right now. How about that? My Sixers are 4-0. We'll talk about them a little bit. I guess out west is where, if we're gonna start, we should start somewhere. Because for one, OKC defending champs, 5-0. Super impressive. Like, not looking like there's a hangover. The dynasty talk is certainly, that's a good way to bring attention that you may have a shot at doing this and building this dynasty like everybody's been talking about. The other one for me too is, like, I don't know if this stood out, but like Wemby and the Spurs, like all my preseason, like leading up these last few episodes, I've been saying with the Spurs, like, they just need to finally start winning this year. And like, I know Wemby missed the end of last year. He had blood clots. So obviously, that sinks your season there a little bit. But like, you made the move for De'Aaron Fox last year. I want to see this team start to win. Listen, early sample size, small sample size, but they are very much winning so far. They look good. Like, that's my big takeaway in the West is like, hey, I've been waiting for this leap. Again, extra small sample size. It feels like I'm getting there. I'm enthused so far with what San Antonio's done.
Yeah, and when there's been good with San Antonio, and you're right. I mean, like the thing with predicting where these teams are going to be is always like Victor Wembanyama. Wemby's the big unknown. When is on time for him? When is he going to take that leap and take that step? And I think a lot of people were thinking year 3. Well, guess what? Like, I mean, here we are for Wemby. It's year 2, and he's like, I'm gonna take that step. And he's looked like, a top 5, 6, 7 player in the league through the first 4 games of San Antonio's season. Whether it's defensively, or even on the offensive side. And so, I mean, it's looked good with him and then all the guys that they've been able to surround him with. And where San Antonio's looked good, we'll keep it in the Lone Star State. I mean, for me in the West, Houston, 1-2. Obviously, it looks different if you're 2-1. You win the, double overtime game, first game of the year against Oklahoma City. But it just looks a little bit rocky right now with how everything's going to fit. Like the Fred VanVleet injury really, I think, threw them off. Then you're trying to work Kevin Durant in. There's been a lot of change for an organization coached by Ime Udoka that I think has high hopes this year that, is a championship or bust? Maybe not. It's like Western Conference Finals or bust for the moves that you definitely made. And so, they're going to have to figure it out. And in the Western Conference, you can get buried pretty early. I mean, when you're looking at how OKC's playing in San Antonio, I know we'll get to Golden State. Then you've got, Denver there as well. Like, there are some really good teams in the West. We've spent the entire offseason talking about them. But, Houston can't get off to a terrible start and then expect to have home court advantage by digging themselves out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the conference is 10, 11 teams deep. Like, you're right about that. You will find yourself down the seeding list very quickly when seeding matters more than anything. I mean, even avoiding that play. I mean, think about that play-in race last year at the end of the season, like how close that was for everybody. I mean, the difference between, 5 and 10 was essentially like, what, a 2-game window, I think. But with Houston, it's just the adjustment period, right? I mean, you mentioned the VanVleet injury. I think that's looming large here. Like, he was going to kind of play more of a point guard role for them. So they got to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, I think it's getting these guys, and it's the weight of expectations for the first time. Like Houston was a young breakout fun story last year. Like the casual media realized like how good Şengün is. You saw the Amen Thompson breakout and him starting to live up to the billing that he was when he was the number 4 overall pick. Like this year, you're going to hopefully for them, it's like, can Jabari Smith step up with more minutes? Obviously a number 3 pick for them a few years ago. Can a guy like Reed Shepherd start to contribute off the bench? KD is KD. KD will be fine. He'll settle in. He knows his role as long as he's staying healthy. Like, you're not going to doubt what he can still bring there. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some more adjustment the way that there may not be with, I mean, obviously OKC has the ultimate amount of consistency there. But I mean, even, Denver's 2-1 right now. So I guess it's too early, but like with those two teams, because that was the grouping, right? It was OKC, it's Denver, it's Houston, who I feel like we thought were going to be at the top of this conference, even with it being as talented as it is. There's more familiar faces in OKC and even Denver. Denver's got some new pieces, but at the end of the day, with Aaron Gordon, with Jokic, with Jamal Murray, the core of that roster is still there. I mean, shoot, even Bruce Brown coming back, like my man was on the championship roster. So there's just with, Houston, maybe it has a little more of that adjustment period.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. And it's just, once again, how does everybody fit? And they'll catch a rhythm if it works. And I think if there's a guy you trust to do it, it's Ime Udoka, right? I mean, he's been there, of course, the run with Boston, and they won the title not long after that. And so, I mean, I think that as you kind of look where everyone stacks, there's also a couple of teams I think that are playing better than we expected. I'll call out Utah. It might be the only time we talk about Utah all year, but the 2-1 Utah Jazz, as we're sitting here, Lauri Markkanen, we'll talk about him. He's had a good start to the season as well, but maybe the Jazz are much improved this season too. But it's a tough conference. Definitely the varsity to the JV of the East.
I really appreciate you shooting the Jazz there. Like, they do need to be talked about now. I don't know if I'm there saying they're going to be the surprise of the conference yet, but no, I mean, yeah, shout out to Lauri. I mean, 51 points. Him and, I mean, it's crazy. 4 50-point games already. SGA's got 55. I mean, that's the high currently. He put up 55 on Indy in the rematch. It's just the randomness of it so far this season. Like Markkanen, maybe you expect a little more with Lauri. Like Lauri's the number 1 guy. He's going to get a lot of shots. He can score in bunches. Man, the other 2 50-point games. How about Austin Reeves the other night against the Kings, 51 points. And then, of course, Aaron Gordon, 50 in the loss, but just absolutely lights out from beyond the arc. That game against Denver, against Golden State. Not necessarily, other than SGA, of course, reigning MVP, but like not necessarily the 3 names when you go, man, who would I think would have the first 50-point games in the NBA this season? It's that trio.
No, and I mean, like, I think if you're a Magic fan, obviously here in Orlando, you're watching that Aaron Gordon 50 piece, and he's knocking down all these threes. I mean, we waited how long for Aaron Gordon to start shooting the 3 that way? And obviously, it's a little bit different when you're playing with Nikola Jokic and the setup that they have there. We put a lot on Aaron Gordon's shoulders when he was here in Orlando. It's great to see the player. He's developed into the player that I think everyone expected him to be when he was in Orlando, kind of that, 3-and-D type of guy, and just overall kind of jump out the gym athlete. But, a 50 piece like that, it was a great performance. And I love the attitude afterwards too, where like, he's basically like, I don't need a 50 piece to take an L home with too. Like he didn't want the ball, right? Like they tried to give him the ball from his 50-point game, and he's like, I'm good. I don't want it. I love that from Aaron Gordon. Maybe it's just a little old school. It's a little bit cliche, but I like that he was like, I don't really want to remember this game, even if I had 50 something because we lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's the mentality you want. And I mean, it's from a guy who is an NBA champion now. So, we, like I said, this Denver squad, they've got big aspirations. Like, I think this is the most, for Denver, the question was the window closed, frankly? Like after the way last year ended, it kind of went out with a whimper. But I really like the way they shake this roster up. Where, trading Michael Porter, bringing in Cam Johnson. Like there's just a lot, in my opinion, to like there going forward. And no one Aaron Gordon reminds me of, and I'm going to sound like a homer here a little bit, but whatever. Aaron Gordon reminds me of Andre Iguodala. When Andre Iguodala, and when Aaron Gordon was on the Magic and Andre Iguodala was on the Sixers, they just were, they were cast in roles that they just were out of their depth a little bit. Where, their Aaron Gordon was needed to be like the number 1 or number 2 option on that team. Like Iguodala for a lot of those Sixers teams had to be the number 1 and the number 2 option. But So in a way, it seemed like they were disappointing, but if you watch the games, they weren't actually disappointing. They did a lot of things well the entire time. Like both of them excellent defenders, super athletic. And it just felt like it's like, hey, once they get to a situation where, maybe they don't need to be the number one or the number two options, I think that's when people will pick up. It's like, no, they're really good players.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon goes to Denver. Iguodala also actually, goes to Denver as that one breakout year, but then obviously to Golden State. And that's where I think, you can start to see where it's like, no, they're really good. Absolutely, they make a difference on winning. Like they are that impact player. Sometimes you're just miscast in the wrong places.
Yeah, I think it also shows those true 1A guys how special they are, right? I mean, like the ones of ones. You mentioned Shea earlier, the Steph Currys, the LeBron James, the Michael Jordans, whatever, the guys that truly are transcendent, that help carry a league and carry a franchise to multiple championships. Like those are one of ones, and they're not on every single team. I mean, you look around the league and there are a lot of good players. There are a lot of really good players, but in terms of those kind of, I can put a franchise on my back and carry them, there's a handful of those guys in the league. And I think we do a lot of players a disservice during the draft time and early in careers where we're looking at them saying, hey, listen, like this is a franchise changing player, right? I mean, like that's, it's a phrase that we love to use where it's like, it's a once in a generation player. We have a once in a generation player every single year in the draft, right? I mean, rarely do you have someone come along that is that once in a generational guy. And, I've spent a lot of time down in the G League, right, working with the Osceola Magic. Here's what I'll tell you. The guys that aren't in the NBA that are trying to make their way in, they're damn good too. We've talked about that a lot. And so it just shows, I mean, from Aaron Gordon's aspect, when he came into the league as the number 4 pick when he was drafted out of Arizona, this is a guy you can build a franchise around. Not necessarily true, no slights to Aaron Gordon, but he is a guy you can build a championship team with. And though, he's very, very good, very special player. I'm glad to see he's having the success he's having.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I do think for what it's worth that there's probably more quote unquote franchise guys, like true number ones, and there probably ever has been in the league. Yeah. Like most teams have, if not a 1, they've got a 1A. I think almost every roster in the NBA has that at this point, which is great. Like why, there's a reason to watch every single team. But, yeah, you're right. Like you start to notice, like not everybody, the term generational, you're right, has really, the only generational guy we've had truly where it was like, no, this is maybe the best prospect ever is Wemby. And the only reason I'm not calling Wemby the best prospect ever, because I'm watching Gold Medal finally, or Court of Gold, I should say, the Netflix documentary on the Olympics. Like I've been real slack in there and I haven't watched it yet, but I think it was Malika Andrews was calling Wemby the best prospect ever. And I'm just like, I can't call Wemby the best prospect ever when LeBron James exists. Like LeBron James' high school games are getting televised on ESPN and he somehow is better than actually the hype was, which is remarkable. That's my only thing with calling Wemby the best prospect ever. Like that's kind of a random thought, but I was like, I feel like that's underselling LeBron mania from 01, 02. It's just Wemby's just such a, like, he's such a freak from how he's built. Like my guy is 7'6" and just splashes jumpers. Like, yeah, there's elements you can't teach about that. And I think Wemby is probably the number 2 prospect ever, right behind LeBron. But I'm like, I don't know how I feel about just giving him that title there right away.
Yeah, and we'll see where Wemby ends up in his career. But if there was ever a prospect, of course, that paid off on all the hype, LeBron is that guy. I mean, came in with all of the, next MJ, and whether you believe he's the GOAT or MJ is the GOAT, we don't need to have that debate for the 12 millionth time, but, he's right up there and has had the career we all thought he would have.
Yeah, I mean, just truly, truly remarkable. Staying in Texas, the Mavericks 1-3. They started chanting "Fire Nico" again, which is kind of crazy. But I think that's kind of to your point, where it's like, hey, Cooper Flagg's had a little bit of a slower start, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not about to be out here like, doing the whole bust conversation or anything already. That's ridiculous. But it's like, yeah, no, sometimes these guys, it takes a little bit of time to ease in right away.
Well, and I mean, like, I saw today, I mean, that he's banged up and is dealing with a shoulder injury. I don't understand what they're doing, having him run point as much. Like, they've got the ball in his hands. And you know what's really hard going from college to the NBA, just as a one and done? What's even harder is doing it as a ball centric guy, and they put the ball in your hand, 70-80% of the time, and to be the one that's running the offense. Cooper Flag's trying how to play in the NBA and kind of keep up with the speed of the game. And then also now they're having to make all these decisions. And I get it, Kyrie is hurt, but you have D'Angelo Russell there. I think they're doing him a real disservice and not just letting him settle in. Maybe in the interest of having a better season than we thought that they would this year, but I think we expected them to kind of have an up and down year so far.
Yeah, and I mean, look, like, because you're right, with the guard, they don't, other than D'Lo, they don't have that other traditional point guard on the roster. Like, Clay is obviously not your traditional point guard. They've got Max Christie. It's not like he's played a ton of point guard minutes, though, so far. But yeah, you're right. There's definitely a little bit of a learning curve. I mean, beyond that, you're going to like Jaden Hardy on the roster type deal. Like, you're not about to move him into the starting lineup. So, and I mean, they're also dealing with some injuries just team wise as well, like, especially on the big man front. Like, Derek Lively's out. Daniel Gafford is missing time right now. I think he sprained his ankle. So, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of adjustment there. Obviously, like you said, the big one, Kyrie Irving not playing. But like it takes some time sometimes. Like that's what it always like. Look, if Dallas wants somebody looking example, look at Cade Cunningham last year. Like Cade Cunningham kind of had an up and down first 2 seasons of the NBA, and then absolutely went off last year and took Detroit to like finally was that guy that he expected it to be. Like these guys are young. They're 20 years old. Like, I think, and with Cooper Flag, the hype is real for a reason. Like, there's a reason that he's going to all these Olympic camps. Like, he's the consensus #1 pick. Like, I don't think that happens by accident in today's NBA either. But it's like, the development is just weird sometimes. There are different timelines for these guys. You can't always project or predict it down to a perfect science.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, it is. It's not linear. It's not, hey, step 1, step 2, step 3. I mean, sometimes you do take a step forward and 2 back. And I mean, like it's 3 games. We're 3 games into his career too. I mean, it's not even a sample size to be able to make a determination. But I think there are franchises that set guys up for success. And then there are franchises that put guys in a position where they're swimming upstream. I mean, like to use a comparison, I mean, we've all been employees at companies where we feel like there's a good support system where, you can do your job well and you've got, a good focus, than other ones where they kind of throw everything at you and they say, figure it out. And, paydays every other week. So, I mean, I think Cooper Flag right now is in the latter, not the former. And, I think the Dallas Mavericks need to figure out, what's best for his development, maybe not what's best for the 25-26 Dallas Mavericks. And there's somewhere in the middle that will work. But when you have all the injuries that they have, as you mentioned, playing him out of position isn't going to win you a ton of games anyway. So I think, I know they're experimenting with a lot of things in terms of how he's going to look, but Cooper Flag also comes off to me as a player that he plays with a lot of feel with the game, and he's got a really, good IQ, basketball IQ that is. But I think you got to give him time to get some of that feel before you start moving around the court.
I mean, do you think they're a victim of expectations a little bit as well? Yeah. Because, they make the trade last year with Luke, obviously. And so you bring in Anthony Davis, you've got Klay Thompson, you've got Kyrie. These are very much like we're trying to win basketball games now. And so I think, the reaction is, yeah, we got Cooper Flag. Like, here's our Luka replacement. We're ready. We're going to contend. We're going to be right back in the finals. When it's like, no, it's not that quite yet. Like you said, it's a little bit, it's not a full like 2 timeline thing going on right now, but it is a little weird where it's like, they're trying to actively win basketball games right now. Like, you don't bring in Anthony Davis if you're not trying to win currently at his age. So, I think there's a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is that Nico has kind of played it off like this was all part of the plan, right? I mean, like it's I love it when a plan comes.
I mean, wink, wink, handshake, Adam Silver. I mean, maybe it was part of the plan.
But I mean, like, so yes, I think those are the expectations where it's, we have these older players. I mean, Klay Thompson must be looking around like, wait a minute, I've seen this 2 timeline thing before. I don't think it ends well for us. As a side note too, can we just put Klay back on the Warriors? Like, he's not going to win in Dallas. Like, this isn't what we wanted for Klay. Okay. Like, let's put him back in Golden State where he belongs. And just, it makes me sad.
Nick, I hear you. I think Klay Thompson is also like dating Megan Thee Stallion and hanging out in Texas, driving his boat around on the lake. And I'm not sure Klay Thompson cares at this point, man. I think he might be good.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't, but
I'm with you because like the Warriors, you get the band of like the Warriors are every team is going young in the NBA. The Warriors said, "Nah, give us every vet we could possibly have on the roster," and like, look, I respect it. It's different. Like, why not go, bring the band out for one last hurrah? I mean, you obviously you got Jimmy last year. You're bringing Al Horford this year. That
yeah,
team is.
AARP is the jersey sponsor, right? I mean, they are the old heads, and to switch gears to that team from Dallas, you go from kind of that young star to these old stars. With Golden State, I think the entire question is, can they do it for an 82 game regular season clip in the playoffs? Because it's looked good to start. They're 4-1, obviously. Steph Curry has had a few really good games. Jimmy Butler has played up to expectations. And Draymond Green, I think, set the record for the quickest tech from someone not in the game to start the season. But can they do it for 82 games? Or are you going to see a bunch of guys just get hit with injuries this year? Because that's where they'll be derailed.
I'm intrigued. They really are one of the most intrigued because if you talk about the second half of the season last year, post Jimmy trade, they were one of the best teams in the NBA. And then Jimmy went out and got hurt in the first game. And that's the story, right? Like, it's don't get hurt when it matters. And that's a very fair concern to have with this roster. But sample size, again, small this year, but I'm going to give them a little bit of the second half last year and say it looked kind of good. I see the vision. It's there. Like, they're nowhere near a favorite contender for me right now, but can if you give me 1,000 scenarios, can you talk me into like maybe 25 of them where it goes the Warriors' way? Yeah, maybe I'm there a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, like, I think that a lot of people, including myself, looked at the second half last year and it was like, we get it. Like, it's all the inertia. You trade for Jimmy Butler, you make the move. We're going to make a run here. One last hurrah for Steph and Dre. You roll it around to this year, is it going to come out stale? And it hasn't. And Kuminga, I know we're going to talk about him at some point. Like, Kuminga's playing well to start the year. You have Al Horford, who is probably the most liked guy in the league by other players.
Boo! But everywhere except Bill, get out of here. Most liked guy in the league. My guy moped for an entire season.
He did. He
definitely could have re-signed with Boston. He moped the entire year.
So I think that was always the question with them, but they've started the season picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you got to be encouraged about. I mean we should go to the East a little bit here. Like we said, definitely it feels like the more JV of conferences right now. I mean not necessarily anything super surprising, I guess so far. I mean Cleveland's 3-1. They're down 14 to Boston right now. Excuse me. I mean. The East is kind of wide open though. Otherwise, right? Like the Bucks are 3-1, the Knicks are 2-2. I don't think you're really hitting the panic button there in New York yet. Miami
being 3-1. Yeah, Sixers and Miami atop the East are a little bit of a surprise to me. Miami leading the NBA in points per game with 131 per game through their first 4 games is a surprise. And obviously, I watched the whole Magic Sixers game Monday night, a couple of nights ago, and the Tyrese Maxey leading the NBA in scoring, and VJ Edgecombe, dynamic duo there has led them to a lot of success, and that's been a lot. I mean, from a Philly standpoint, I mean, you got to leave like a pig in mud right now because your expectation was maybe it'd be a so-so year. We'll see what happens with Joel Embiid. Now you're kind of like, all right, well, if we get anything out of Embiid, it's gravy at this point.
Justin is screaming right now because I can hear him already because he's about to be like, no, we're not giving them credit. We're not doing this. Don't do this. Don't fall for the trap. And I'm sitting here like, I said I was done with this team and I'm so far back in. VJ Edgecombe saved my life. No, I
he's
mean,
a talker too. He was chirping everybody on Monday. I mean, like he's having a huge game. I get it. But I mean, you've got a rook in his third, fourth game of the year. And he is bleep talking everybody.
I am praying that he isn't afflicted with the whatever weird Sixers rookie injury that's about to happen at some point, and that's really going to break my heart when that does happen. But no, I mean he's been electric so far. I mean it's been about the guards, like you said. Maxey obviously just absolutely on nuclear to start the season, taking on a huge role of that offense because Joel has been on a minutes restriction. Like Joel's only playing about 20 some games. To be honest, defensively, he's looked a mess so far. Like, I think that's the one concerning thing with the Sixers team so far. Defense has not really been there, but they're scoring a lot. And I think offensively, Joel, especially the other night or the last 2 games really against Charlotte and not the Magic game, but the game against Charlotte. So that was the second game, I guess. And then the last night against the Wizards, I think Joel looked good offensively. He looked assertive. Um, but yeah, I mean, their just guard rotation has been really good. I mean, it's been Edgecombe and it's been Maxey. It's also been Quentin Grimes off the bench. Like you talk about a guy that's picking up where he was last season. Like Quentin Grimes came over from Dallas and was just awesome the second half of the year. A bit of a mess contract situation wise that we talked about a few episodes ago with him being a restricted free agent. Like it just kind of ended bad for both sides, but on the court, it's been great. I mean, you want to talk about him coming off the bench and just providing a massive scoring punch for them. Like he's not afraid to be that spark there. And guard wise, they're only going to get better. Like Jared McCain's going to come back here too at some point in the next couple of weeks, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, you kind of got something here a little bit. Adam Bona's been a good positive development for them off the bench as well in terms of backing up Joel. He's looked really good defensively. Like I still think there's limitations there offensively, but last night against the Wizards, that's kind of the game that gets you to buy in, right? Because that's the second night of a back-to-back. They have a real nice win against the Magic, but then you're playing the Wizards. You're down 18 on the road in Washington. Granted, just a little trip down 95, but whatever. And they come back and they win that game in overtime. Like that's a gutsy win. That's the type of win that gets you to buy back in. And like, again, I'm not going to sit here and go small sample size all episode and then be like, the Sixers are going to win the NBA finals. But yeah, when Jared McCain hasn't played, when Joel's been on a minutes restriction, when Paul George hasn't played a minute yet, like the early returns are good. And because the conference is so wide open, it's like, no, there is a world you could see this working. And I think that's where, regardless, no matter what, the Maxey Edgecombe duo is just at least something positive for fans to, hang their hat on because, yeah, it hasn't exactly been a lot of fun here the last few seasons.
Yeah. Now, if you're the front office, you lean as hard into that as you can. And I mean, the nice thing is that, frankly, it's a great distraction from what's happened with Joel Embiid, right? So you hope that just continues to play the way that it's playing. And whatever you get out of Embiid, as I mentioned, is kind of gravy. And frankly, can you put as little on Embiid as possible before you get to the postseason? I mean, we're a long way away from that. We just started the year, but that's always been the problem with Embiid is by the time you got to that postseason, he was so beat up and beleaguered that, he didn't have anything left in the tank. And he's a guy that, while availability has been an issue with him, he has had some of the worst luck with injuries and truly someone who's left it all out there on the court. And so, you hope that he can get back healthy. And the Sixers team, if you can add even Joel Embiid at 75%, which I think all Sixers fans would take right now, you tell me, but
100%.
It's a viable team in the Eastern Conference, especially.
Yeah. And again, that's the biggest thing, going to Miami. Listen, man, Spo's just a wizard. There's no way around it. Like Spo is just, he's the best coach in the NBA, like flat out. I mean, and maybe some of this isn't surprising, but like, Norm Powell, 24 points a game. Norm was great last year for the Clippers. Like that was his breakout year. So maybe again, savvy veteran signing there, taking a large portion of the offensive load. It's been the combo of everybody so far, right? It's like, and part of it is having solid vets. Wiggins is there playing minutes for them. Obviously, Bam Adebayo is Bam Adebayo. He's always going to be great, but it's like Jaquez is giving them good minutes right now. Jovic is giving them good minutes right now. Ware is giving them good minutes right now. Like it's just, they're getting good minutes out of Davion Mitchell at this point. Like they're deep. They look like a deep roster. And the question is going to be, and oh, by the way, like Tyler Hero really hasn't played at all this season. The question is that sustainable? I don't know. But like, do I think Miami is always going to be annoying? And do I think they're going to play hard? And do I think they're going to probably win more games than they probably have any business winning? Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah. Norm Powell, by the way, 23rd in the league in scoring right now. I don't think that'll last, but Norm, have your moment here. I will tell you, and I did not look at this until right now. The NBA currently, how many players do you think in the league are averaging 30 points a game or more right now?
Probably a disgusting amount. I'm a little concerned, honestly. Like
9 players.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tyrese Maxey, of course, leads the league. Yep. Giannis, Reeves, Shea, Lauri Markkanen, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Wemby, and Jamal Murray. Zach LaVine's at 29 points a game. Devin Booker, 28.5, just outside of it. Then Steph Curry at 27 to make up the top 12. But that's what the scoring has looked like to start the season too. I mean, I'm jumping kind of off into a tangent here a little bit, but I mean, it has been, I feel like pace is up. I feel like, scoring is way up just through the first week of the season here. It's been crazy to see.
Yeah, yeah, the Sixers are scoring 129 right now. Miami, who we mentioned, is scoring 131. Even team like the Hornets are averaging 128 right now. The Bucks are at 122. The Nuggets are at 130. So like, yeah, definitely a lot of pace. I mean, yeah, the pace I think we've been seeing here for the past few years, definitely. Um, the Bucks, I feel like, I mean, I've been kind of hard on the Bucks all off season. They were off to a good start though. Giannis is just so good. Like that's what it comes down to. Is like Giannis is still, for as hard as I've been on that roster, it's about the roster. It ain't about Giannis. And like Giannis, we kind of talk about winning games that you shouldn't have any business winning. Like Giannis is still definitely capable of doing that. Obviously, a huge win for them against the Knicks the other night on national television. That's their signature win so far. And they're another team where it's like because of Giannis, like I think they're going to compete in the Eastern Conference. I'm just so jaded with them in the playoffs right now. It's like we've kind of seen these last few years haven't been what you wanted them to be.
Yeah, and I think not to make you could ask this, you say this for every single team, but I think especially with Milwaukee and some of these teams where it is one player that is the engine of everything.
Yeah, I mean everything.
Can he do what he's doing for 82 games and the playoffs, right? I mean, right now Milwaukee is 7th in points, 9th in assists. They're 17th in rebounding. Like I don't think they have enough size. That's really where they are lacking. Defensively, they're in the top half of the league. But when you take a look at what Giannis has done so far this year, I mean, he's in the top 5 in the league in scoring this year. And so he's second at 36 points per game. But I mean, the numbers for him to start the season have just been, frankly, like outstanding.
Well, so you just mentioned how he's the engine of everything. Giannis is averaging just a tick over 36 points a game so far this season. How many do you think the second highest on the Bucks is averaging right now? How many points per game?
16, I would guess.
You're pretty close. Yeah, 15. Ryan Rollins is averaging 15 points, 15.3 points per game. Gary Trent's got 13 and a half. AJ Green and Cole Anthony have 12 each. Yeah, it's Giannis. Like it's jarring how much Giannis it is right now. And I think, yeah, that's a very valid concern going forward of how sustainable that is. Cause like this looks like it could go south very quick if he's not on the court. But hey, listen, my man is brilliant and he's going to win them a lot of games off that fact alone. So, yeah, it's not a bad idea to give the ball to Giannis at this point and just watch how the season goes. We'll see how the season goes. We got a lot to talk about on this episode of the Driving Dish NBA podcast. When the warm up is just about the season so far, because we have a whole gambling scandal to get to. It's going to be a kind of an interesting episode, not the start to the season I think the NBA was looking for. But yes, welcome to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. My co-host Justin Cousart. We'll be back in a few weeks, genuinely. Nick Gryniewicz is here holding it down this episode at GetNickG on Twitter. Of course, play-by-play voice for the Osceola Magic. You've heard Nick on the show plenty of times. We're going to talk all things gambling scandal coming up, of course. Chauncy Billups arrested. Terry Rozier arrested. Damon Jones arrested. Yeah, needless to say, there's a whole lot to break down there that we'll get into. X-ray vision on the poker goggles. Like, listen, the mafia is involved. What a bunch of sentences there. And of course, we're going to do who's ballin', who's fallen as well. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the show. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us. Of course, you can watch the video version of the podcast as well. On YouTube, just search Driving Dish NBA Podcast. Now, a word from our sponsors. So, we have some hoops that we could talk about and some small sample sizes, of course, but we also we'd be remiss not to mention the fact that an active NBA head coach got arrested over the past week in Chauncy Billups getting arrested. Of course, Terry Rozier also has been arrested. Damon Jones, ex-player, arrested as well. This is all part of a big gambling breakup, basically sting operation by the FBI. And it's a bit twofold. That's the thing here that's worth mentioning is, so Chauncy Billups is facing these charges related to rigged poker games. Essentially, he was brought in by the mafia, according to the indictment. Like no joke, like 4 separate crime families to just lure people in to play these games. It's like, hey, do you want to play poker with Chauncy Billups? Like, here's NBA Hall of Famer. You get to do that, and then they were rigging it. Like, I mean, you name it. They were counting cards. They had X-ray vision. They had all sorts of tells and body language you could think of. Like, it was a firmly rigged poker game. So he got arrested there. There are many people who think he's one of the conspirators, the unnamed conspirators named in the gambling ones. Because of course there's a gambling indictment that goes back to Jontay Porter as well. Of course, got the lifetime ban from the league. He's named in this. But Terry Rozier got flagged for a few games where, games where he was injured and left the game after about 10 minutes, and there were large amounts of cash transactions related to his unders that night that got flagged, of course. And so here we are. Neither of these guys, the update today is that they're getting paid while the investigation is going on. Jontay Porter, of course, we know got a lifetime ban once he was found doing that. Could potentially be on the table as well. You never want to rule that out. But I mean, my initial takeaway with this, and this is something that Justin and I have talked about in the past, and I feel like Justin, kind of like paints me as the Puritan when it comes to gambling. And so I feel like now that we have a major gambling story, I really should clarify my stance here, because I'm definitely not anti-gambling. Like, I absolutely think gambling should be legal. I'm very like libertarian in that category. It's in the category with like marijuana and alcohol and any other vice where I'm like, people are going to do it. It's been a thing forever. I think it should be legal, because then you don't have the black market. Like, then other things aren't happening where people could get hurt. There's just, regulation is good. But man, we are flying so close to the sun with gambling, and that's just what I think is because it's not just basketball. I think this is American sports in general. Like, the past few years where you've seen play-by-play and color commentators just like casually working the unders and the overs into games. And, on pregame shows, you have, guys picking their player props. And again, I want to abundantly make clear that I'm not anti-gambling. I think people should gamble. If you want to gamble, go do it. But like, I don't know, man. Maybe we should have gambling ads every other ad right now, and then be surprised when it bleeds in the league a little bit. Or you're just going to not have any integrity left. Like, that's going to be the ultimate end game consequence if they don't really like nip this in the bud, because that's the direction we're going right now. Like, when you have an active coach getting arrested, and like, listen, I know Terry Rozier is not a star player necessarily, but like, this is a big deal.
That are going to do it. Those are the guys. I mean, like, here's the thing: LeBron has nothing to gain by doing something like this. They make enough money. Where this has the effect is with some of those mid-tier, lower-tier, end-of-the-bench guys. Like, those are the guys that are going to do this. Those are the guys that get into trouble with, I mean, I'll say the wrong people, but whoever, with guys lending them money or getting behind on. Exactly, the mafia, right, exactly, And so those are the guys that get leaned on. Whether it's Chauncey Billups, allegedly, that, we don't have all of the information. We'll kind of continue to follow this, but Terry Rozier is the perfect. I mean, even for him, he's making what, $30 million a year? Like, it blows my mind that he's screwing around with the unders. But yeah, I mean, I'm right with you. And I should say, I work for an advertising company. The gambling companies pay some of my bills. You know what I mean? They spend quite a bit on advertising. In fact, turn on a television, you can't go without seeing a DraftKings, FanDuel, whoever ad that's out there.
FanDuel has saved multiple local, regional TV networks that were supposed to go off the air. And so that's the part of it where it is. It's like the marriage continues.
Including the one that I will be on next week, right? I mean, home of the Orlando Magic and the Osceola Magic. Like, I have absolutely no ill will towards these companies whatsoever, nor do I have any ill will towards sports gambling. But as you mentioned, it's not that we've seen sports cozy up to gambling or open up to gambling over the last decade. We have seen them walk into the room, pull back the duvet cover, and get right into bed with these gambling companies. And, I worked in sports radio for ESPN 580 in Orlando over the last 10, 15 years. Are getting closer to 15 now, Kevin. Jeez. But over the last 10, 15 years, and it went from the first few years I was working there, it was, we don't talk about gambling. It's kind of very taboo, to by the end, I'm doing my 5 picks against the spread, every single Friday. We're not hiding it. I mean, as you mentioned, Al Michaels, when he was doing Sunday Night Football for NBC, there'd be like a little wink and nod to the under or the over or something. And now in the middle of the broadcast, you can, play-by-play guys, color analysts are talking about, well, the over-under is 63.5, a touchdown hits the over. So yeah, we've become much more, I would say, open about that. And there are good, there are good parts of that. And I think there are bad parts of it as well. And I think if you're a player on the end of the bench for any of these sports, you're saying, wait a minute, everyone's cleaning up on this. Why don't I clean up on it? But, that is the integrity of these leagues is the most important thing. The most important thing for Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, should be to make sure that the integrity of the league goes untarnished here. Because if not, you're professional wrestling. That's what you are. I mean, the games are scripted. There's no reason to tune in and care because someone's on the take. And so now the NBA is the only league over the last 25 years that has 2 gambling scandals. You've got Tim Donaghy, and now you have this and whatever it is. And I don't know your thoughts on it. We didn't have a chance to discuss it, but this is the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, the FBI is in on this. We are going to find out more. And it has been interesting just being on social media and watching the social media sleuths come out and go through the Zapruder film of different games or tie together different characters and, different stories that have come out about, sure, the poker games, but also players that could be involved in this stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it's this, and then you add it to keep adding to the list. It's like you got the whole Kawhi Leonard thing going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's like this is a bad list of headlines that the NBA is dealing with right now, and it's going to be a huge test for Adam Silver. Like Adam Silver is about to earn his money as the NBA commissioner because you have to get a handle on this. You have to protect the integrity, or it's going to cost you like long term. Like you have to. Again, it's not going away. Like the gambling companies, it's out now. Like, do I hope it reels back a little bit? And do I think that like gambling should just be one of those things that you have to go find and kind of seek out yourself a little bit? Yeah, I do for sure. Like you should have to go to the casino, or you should have to it's all in your pocket right now. I just don't think you should be advertising every other commercial with it the way that, that we get political ads in election season. Like it's a lot. It's a zillion different companies, like you said, companies that have probably advertised on this podcast before. Like, again, I'm not anti-gambling. Like, I'm not hating on anybody that like go place your bets. I'm not that person. But yeah, I think this is and I even hate the slippery slope argument. I hate it even more after going to law school. But like, this is it, right? Like, this is the one time I feel like it applies a little bit where it's like, no, we are going down. Like you said, it's going to be scripted there. And in a league, especially with the NBA where, fouls are so subjective a lot of the time, it can look bad very quickly. And that's a lot, talk about credibility. Like, look at the draft lottery. Like, we have a lot of credibility questions right now in the NBA. And that's where I worry about. Does Adam Silver have it in him? I don't know. David Stern, yeah, he dealt with this. I don't know what he might have been breaking kneecaps behind the scenes, but he dealt with it. Like, Adam Silver, I don't know.
Yeah, crack out a Ouija board. We might need his advice on this. But I mean, I think, as you mentioned, things like the draft lottery, and of course I mentioned Tim Donaghy. Basketball is the easiest sport for, when something like this happens, it gives credence to those conspiracy theories. And I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. Maybe I'm even a little bit too naive where I'm the guy that's like, it's never something. And of course, sometimes it has to be something. But right. When something like this comes along, it gives credence to all of those conspiracy theories. And once again, like, death to a league is when people are questioning the legitimacy of the outcomes. And the NBA is nowhere near being in trouble, of course. It's a healthy league. It's a good product. But, as this comes out, if you have more people that are, more players and more prominent players going the way of Terry Rozier and, Jonte Porter, it's going to get really slippery really quick, as you mentioned. Now, do I think the top players in the league are getting involved in this? No, but I do wonder how high up it goes. Like, I would say, like, who is the most prominent player that maybe is messed around with an under or two or something like that? And also, I guess this idea has been thrown around. This isn't my original thought, but I have to throw it out there. I also have to say, for some of this, why are we betting unders at all. Like, why are you like, to me, like there's some design in this that we can adjust to help root out some of these problems.
Yeah, like stop having player props on guys who get 10 minutes a game. Like that's a real easy way to root it out. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like two-way players shouldn't have unders. You want to bet the over on him? Great. He got in there and got some minutes and played well. That's awesome. But, you shouldn't have an under on Terry Rozier if he's playing 12 and a half minutes a game. And honestly, outside of 25 players in the league, should we bet unders on any of them? Like, I don't see a reason to bet the under. Either bet the over or bet the game.
Betting the under is cowardly anyway. Come on, even from gambling perspective.
The under consistently, you suck. Let's be honest. Like we want to go out there and watch guys get buckets. If you're betting under 25 points for Jokic, you just go to hell, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a gambling take I think we all can agree on is, listen, main things you can bet on. Don't bet the under. Betting the under is crazy. All right, who's balling, who's falling, our NBA version of the stock market. We always like start with the good before we start with the bad. So, Nick, you are our guest this week. I will start with you. Who is balling?
I mean, like we've talked enough about your Sixers, but I got to mention BJ Edgecombe, right? I mean, like the rookie comes out and the Rook in his first, 4 games has just lit the league on fire. I watched him play against the Orlando Magic a couple of nights ago, and he looks like the real deal. One of those guys that, when he came up in the draft, the Sixers, kept their pick. They end up with him, and it looks like they've got a real gem there. But, what he's been able to do through, the first 4 games of the season for Philadelphia, I mean, 22 points per game. He's shooting over 40% from 3. It's been a crazy start for him. I mean, he's making over 8 field goals a game, 42.9% from 3. It's just crazy to watch for a guy that I think many expected to have to kind of ease his way into the year for a Sixers team that was looking for a little bit of a shot of energy. So he's balling, definitely.
I didn't tell Nick to say any of that. I swear I didn't plan that. That was all on his own. This was not me putting the Philly hat on. I appreciate that. But
thank you. He's playing 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, I mean, he's been great at finishing. Like that was the knock on him going into the league is that he just needs to get better at, finishing around the rim. And so far he's finished everything. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great sign so far. Obviously the 3-point shot has been there. Like that was one of the things if it could develop, but yeah, early returns are very good. The last Sixers player to win Rookie of the Year is our boy Michael Carter Williams. You got to go way back, but yeah, certainly VJ is going to have a chance to do that. He'll be in that conversation. I think he's jumped Cooper Flagg currently, again, 4 games in on the Rookie of the Year leaderboard, but he's going to play heavy minutes. Like there's no doubt about it. So I mean, you certainly have to factor it in. Ballin for me, again, we talked about this team briefly as well, too, with the Warriors, but I've got Jonathan Kuminga balling as Steve Kerr officially announced that Kuminga will be in the starting lineup, which, like, this is a pleasant surprise, right? Like, I feel like Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors have gone through every phase possible you could go through in a relationship. And now, like, here we are after all that. They kind of like each other. Kuminga's in the starting lineup. The team is playing well. I mean, look, if there's a jaded part of you, it says maybe they're just trying to showcase him so they can trade him midway through the season. Like, let's see what that value does here. But, no, I mean, this is, again, putting it on paper out there, definitive. He's going to be in the starting lineup of course, with Steph and with Jimmy and Draymond. So,
yeah. And here's the thing, Kev. I mean, like, if he's playing well and they're winning, they're not going to trade him because they're married to winning now for Steph and for Dre. So, I mean, if he's winning games for them, it doesn't matter. They're going to keep him and they'll just figure it all out.
Yeah, I mean, so far, 16.2 points, 53.7% shooting overall. So, again, early returns have been good, so you can't really knock that too much. All right, who's fallen for you this week?
I'm going to go with the homer pick here, the Orlando Magic. And more than anything, the Orlando Magic defense, they're allowing 120 points per game or just about bottom half of the league. They are a team that isn't going to score enough. They need to be defending, and they haven't through the first 4 games of the year for them. You're off to a 1-3 start. They're playing they're playing the Pistons right now. 8.5 to go in the fourth as we're taping this, and they're down by 20 points. And so it looks like you're headed to a 1-4 start. Not really the start you're looking for from a team that many have been picking to be the 3rd or 4th team in the Eastern Conference. And really what it's been to me is like, it's the bench. They've gotten nothing off of the bench for Orlando at all. It's the Desmond Bane trade has looked good in my opinion. I think he's played well. Paolo has kind of been up and down to start the year. I've liked the way that Franz has looked, but defensively they haven't been the same team. They're only averaging 113 points per game right now, but really, I mean, they've gotten absolutely nothing off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at this box score from tonight, like you mentioned, they're down 20 to the Pistons right now. Like they got 10 from Tristan da Silva, they got 10 from Belize. That's about it. You got 8 from Anthony Black, but it's a really inefficient 2 from 9. Tyus Jones giving you 3. Like, yeah, it's not even. I mean, it's the starters are doing the heavy lifting here. And in the case of tonight, they're not even doing that much. I mean, Bane's struggling big time. He's 3 of 13 for tonight. He's only got 10. Franz has 20, but it's kind of inefficient. Paulo's got 18 and 10, but again, kind of inefficient. Yeah, I mean, bench is definitely going to have to give them a little more. I mean, it feels like some of these guys, like, is part of it like the younger guys they drafted not developing either necessarily the way you want to? Like, I'm looking at like Anthony Black and Jett Howard, for example. Like, they don't really mean to be anything necessarily.
No, and I mean, it's a big year for Anthony Black. I mean, the team announced today they picked up, the option on his contract. So he's in Orlando through 26, 27. Same thing with Tristan da Silva was what they're, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a big year for Anthony Black because you have to figure out, okay, is this a guy that we can build with on the team, or are you likely going to look to move him either at the trade deadline or, into next year? He's a good, talented player. I think he's developed well, but he hasn't quite taken that next step. I don't quite think you get enough from him on the offensive side, from the guard position, to be able to play him big time minutes yet. We just haven't seen it. And I think, Tristan da Silva, I like Tristan da Silva. Like, I think he's a guy that, you're in year 2 with da Silva. And so I think he's developing just fine. But he's hot and he's cold, and I think that's kind of the thing is they don't have anyone that's coming off the bench consistently right now. Like, I mean, can Terrence Ross come back? Like, can we get him in a jersey? I mean, if we had Terrence Ross, light the torch and see whether or not we get something. But right now the Magic have just nothing really coming off that bench. And, from a big man rotation too, I mean, it feels like they're just missing one more piece still early in the year. And I believe in Jamal Mosley. I think they'll figure it out, but it's a new group. And, so far they just haven't quite had anything coming off the bench.
Yeah, no, and I mean, we'll see if they make the moves as they can do. Because like you said, expectations are there for sure. Unlike the West, you have a little bit of room if you start to slip in the Eastern Conference a bit. But yeah, definitely, this is a team with expectations. Like, there's big time expectations there. It was a fun story last year. We're trying to win games now. Sort of Magic adjacent for my Fallin. That goes to Shaq. Shaq had a custom Range Rover that got stolen in transport. So this is a $180,000 vehicle. It happened in Georgia. Apparently, and again, this is according to ESPN and the Associated Press, the Lumpkin County Sheriff's Office says the SUV was taken from a local fabrication business and brought to Atlanta last week. It was supposed to be shipped to Baton Rouge while he was in town for the LSU game, but it just never arrived. By the way, like, I feel like if you're looking for a car, you got to find that one right away, right? Because I know, like, listen, a Range Rover is a big vehicle, but like, this is fitting Shaquille O'Neal. You need a little bit more than a big vehicle here. Either way, though, like, man, dude, heists are back though. We got Shaq's thing getting stolen here. The Louvre got hit, and the French Crown Jewels got stolen.
Dude. What a time to be alive. You're right. I mean, the Louvre story is incredible. I'm looking at a picture of the Range Rover right now. Shaquille O'Neal went kind of all out on this one, but yeah, it's a crazy story. I mean, like, it just doesn't show up, and I don't know, just a weird one, I guess. But Shaq will figure it out. I'm sure they'll find him another one.
I mean, Shaq's like, isn't he a sheriff's deputy in like 52 sheriff counties or something? I feel like that's what Shaq does, is just go around to local police departments and collect honorary sheriff's badge. Like, put that police work to yourself. Like, I'd be kind of, could you imagine if you stole Shaq's SUV and he just pulled up and arrested you?
That would be awesome. Actually, that's what they should do. Is like the inside the NBA guys. They should send Shaq out to find his car.
I guess Shaq the bounty hunter.
I guess they were on tonight, so we haven't seen it, but I wonder whether or not they talked about it on the inside of the NBA. tonight. We'll see it. We'll see it online. Whether or not
I need Chuck to be cracking a joke or something like that. That'd be pretty entertaining, but we shall see. Thank you, everybody. My bad. Go ahead, Nick.
Early season takeaways on Inside the NBA. You caught them at all?
I like that. Not as much on the Inside the NBA. I like the NBC coverage so far. I'm definitely like the reviews there have been positive, and I'm here to add to that. I like them. I mean, they went all out. Like the fact that we've got so much from Michael Jordan already. Like my man Bash Load Management, he said if I could like take a drug and start playing yesterday, like he was like that was honest. Like you felt it. Like I felt like that was Jordan being more vulnerable than he's been in a while. Yeah, I mean, I like they're just not talking about nonsense. Like that's just what it all comes down to for me. I mean, that's why I liked Inside the NBA so much is it didn't feel like they talked about nonsense. Like, it's kind of a different crossover now. And I still think, of course, they're finding their footing. But I truly haven't seen enough of it to have like a big takeaway for it so far.
Yeah, so far it's felt pretty similar. I've only watched a bit just like you, but it's felt kind of like Inside the NBA, honestly.
Yeah.
So it feels like everyone was really worried about what that would look like. Obviously, we'll see as things kind of start to get into rhythm. I would say just like these NBA teams, the Inside the NBA ESPN relationship is new, and so they got to figure all of that out. But yeah, it's been interesting, and having back on NBC is cool as well. I mean, having Round Ball Rock back is great. It really takes me back to an earlier, simpler time in my life. So it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that it's just the score at the bottom. Like I don't like their scoring graphic right now. It's just not it's not really that big of a deal, but like it's just not super aesthetically pleasing to me. That's about like the only thing they've done wrong so far. And even that, like it's not necessarily wrong. It's just like it's fine. It could be better, I feel like. But again, if that's what we're complaining about, we're really pulling hairs here. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Again, get the show wherever you can get your podcast. Thank you to Nick Gryniewicz for filling in for Justin this week. Of course, follow Nick on Twitter at GetNickG. You can hear Nick, Osceola Magic, play-by-play. Make sure you're checking out those games. A lot of fun action in the G League going on. Where are you guys? You talked about it a little bit earlier, but like where from people on the go who aren't in the area, where can they listen to the Magic, Osceola Magic?
You can catch us, of course, on the FanDuel Sports Network. Our games are all airing there. So whether if you have a subscription to that to watch the Orlando Magic, you'll be seeing the Osceola Magic on there to catch us. You can find the team, of course, on all the social media outlets in order to hear them. I'm still waiting on some other news in terms of potential other outlets that you may be able to catch us on. So our season starts a week from Friday. We open up the year at home at Osceola Heritage Park. Looking forward to it.
I love a good tease there. It's some good process language, buddy. Good. The journalist has never left you.
No tease there, just a man that doesn't know anything. And so I'm looking forward to getting back. I missed all of last season. First time in how old am I now? I'm 36. So first time in 18 years, I have not broadcasted a basketball game in a year since I was basically 18. And so obviously missed all of last year due to my health condition, but looking forward to getting back.
Yeah, big shout out as always to the Cleveland Clinic for getting my dog back on his feet. You see the big heart behind you. You know how it goes. Yeah, still, and also be an organ donor. Like, I feel like that should hopefully go without saying, but like, yeah, if y'all got the opportunity, Nick here, post-heart transplant, like, but there are plenty of other ways. It's one of the easiest things to do of all time. Yeah, like you said, when you're gone, you really don't need them. I promise they can be better served. It's a great way to give back. Yeah, watch a video of the podcast on YouTube. Just search Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Like I said, Justin is going to be out next week. I don't know who we're going to have guesting, so stay tuned for that. We'll have another episode, and then Justin will be back the following week. But yes, we will catch you guys soon.